Sports with Josh. It's Sunday, so you know what time it is. It's time for another edition of Sports with Josh. Once again, I'm your host, Josh Evans. Thank you to all my listeners who are listening right now, whether on YouTube or Facebook. I very much appreciate it, and you all will be rewarded sometime soon. I'm thinking about actually starting to give away some prizes on my show for my valued listeners, so stay tuned for that. We got a lot to talk about today, starting with an issue that's very close to my heart, being a football player, and something that I'm very much appalled at: bounty hunting in the NFL. I mean, honestly, there's no place for this in the NFL. The New Orleans Saints have just been found out under defensive coordinator Greg Williams that for the last 3 years they've been having a bounty hunting system for injuring players and taking them out of the games. Bonus money if you take them out of a game on the cart. Now, Greg Williams was the defensive coordinator for the Saints through 2009 to 2011. And 12 or 13 players on his roster have been found out to be a part of this. But what's scary is that he was also the Washington Redskins defensive coordinator, and now the NFL is coming out with an investigation saying this was going on while he was the defensive coordinator in Washington. And Coy Wire, the ex-safety of the Buffalo Bills, just came out and said that Buffalo had the same system while Greg Williams was the head coach of the Bills. Now, big names came up in this, as players said their big targets were Brett Favre and Kurt Warner when the Saints were doing the system, which is kind of scary because if you remember, Kurt Warner's last game was against the Saints, and it ended with him taking a huge shot, which kind of makes you cringe and kind of makes you feel bad for the guy, because now you know the story behind that. They were actually sharpshooting him during that game. And Kurt Warner, if you met him or know him personally, he's a great Christian guy. I don't see why anyone would want to hurt him for some money. Bounties are common for big plays in the NFL, as in you score a touchdown, first player to get an interception, return for a touchdown, but not injuries, not injuring a fellow NFL player who's putting his life on the line out there to support his family. You just don't. I'm appalled at this. I am at a loss for words with Greg Williams and the New Orleans Saints. And the NFL is going to deliver some swift justice. Fines, suspensions, and even forfeit of draft picks are definitely coming down from Roger Goodell's desk to the New Orleans Saints. So we'll see what's going to come of that in the New Orleans Saints organization. Down to Dallas and Lamar Odom. Lamar Odom took a 10-day leave of absence from Dallas for personal reasons that were undisclosed. He didn't really let anyone know, not Mark Cuban, not the coach. He returned Friday, played 18 minutes, had 7 points, no turnovers. And for Dallas, LO really needs to step up. If they want to try and repeat their championship or even make a deep run in the playoffs, Odom has to play. Because as you saw in his leave of absence, Dirk obviously cannot play the entire game. And when Dirk leaves the game, the level of play drops without Odom there. With Odom there, drops a little tiny bit because Dirk is obviously a little bit better than Lamar Odom. But with Odom out and not playing well, when Dirk's out of the game, Dallas, no chance. Staying with basketball, over to Andrew Bynum and the Lakers. Now, I don't remember if you guys know or remember in the second round of playoffs last year when the Dallas Mavericks swept the Lakers. In Game 4, the Mavericks were blowing out the Lakers, and Bynum did a hard, flagrant, intentional foul on J.J. Barea and has gone under a lot of fire through that. Well, in the All-Star game, Dwayne Wade broke Kobe's nose and gave him a mild concussion on a hit that you just really don't do in an All-Star game. And there's been a lot of debate on this week, whether he should have fouled him like that or whether repercussions should have happened. Bar none, it's an All-Star game, and basically when you get a step, you get your dunk. If you beat your player by a step, they're going to give you a dunk. Westbrook had 1 million dunks. So did Blake Griffin, Kevin Durant, LeBron James. But when Kobe got a step on Wade, he reached his hand up, grabbed him, first of all, and then swats him across the face with his elbow region. And so Bynum is kind of feeling pressure all week because the Lakers host the Heat today at Staples Center. And Bynum kind of came out and said, all eyes are on me. I don't want to retaliate, but I can't even foul him remotely hard because I will get probably ejected or fined. And Bynum has a point because he has a history along with Matt Barnes and Metta World Peace a.k.a. Ron Artest, then it kind of makes them hard. I mean, I just don't want it to affect the game today because it's what he said was true. The officials are going to be looking for some retaliation from the Lakers players towards D-Wade. We'll have to keep an eye on that in the game today. In other sports today, college hoops are on. Kentucky is at Florida. Florida up by 8 at the half right now. March Madness is on its way in March 13th. The bracketology comes out this week, so it's going to be interesting to see who gets the number 1 seeds, how everything goes out. Murray State, where they're going to be at. Their coach wants a number 2 seed. I just don't see that happening with Murray State's schedule, although this season was a great run for them. So who's going to be the sleepers this year? Who's going to be the favorite? Who's going to be the bandwagoner that everyone jumps on and kind of the George Mason of the tournament? NBA New York plays Boston. That's underway right now at the half. Golden State plays Toronto later tonight. New Jersey at Charlotte. The Clippers go to Houston. Chicago Bulls play the Philadelphia 76ers. The Kings take on the Phoenix Suns. Nuggets travel to San Antonio to face Tony Parker and the Spurs. In the NASCAR today, the Sprint Cup takes its second race to Phoenix. Mark Martin and Tony Stewart make up the first line. Mark Martin won the pole. Tony Stewart took second in the qualifying. Golf, the Honda Classic, 4th round is today. Rory McIlroy is the leader at under 11. Tom Gillis from United States is number 2 at negative 10 under par. And Tiger Woods is tied for 9th right now at negative 5 under par. Negative 3 for the day. He's kind of charging towards the leaders. I don't know if he'll have enough to get there, but good to see Tiger playing good on a final day of the tournament because he has been struggling in round 4s lately. Also, another big game that's about to get underway is Miami at LAL, Los Angeles Lakers, which is the game I'm going to be watching. So I am going to get out of here. Thanks for listening to Sports with Josh, everybody. I appreciate it.
Sports with Joe.